we can now correlate some of the basic terms of LoadRunner. So I'll be continuing with that portion, and then I'll be starting for today's agenda. I'll be continuing with few left out basic terminologies and PTLC, performance testing life cycle. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Okay, so yesterday we have covered SLA, performance metrics, transaction, business process, scenarios, V users, protocol, load generator, controller, iteration, pacing, think time, correlation. So today I'll take some of the remaining thing. Let's start with a fresh slide. So today I'll speak about parameterization. Like normally when the parameterization is used, and what is the purpose of parameterization, everything I'll speak, and then rendezvous point I'll speak. So if you like, I'll show you v user init, what does it do, action v user end, in load runner what does it do. I'll just share everything. Okay, so I'll say about parameterization. And v user init, action v user end. This is functions and all. Rendezvous point, runtime setting. I'll not speak everything about runtime setting, but what is runtime setting and all, I'll just say recording option. Okay, parameterization. Parameterization is nothing but if there are some of the static values in your script, and you want to pass for each and every iteration, if you wanted to pass different values, then you use the concept of parameterization. Again, when I come to the script, I'll be showing you each and every parameter types and what are their uses. But for as of now, parameterization is nothing but whenever you directly replay the script, if it is having the same value, then when you request anything from the web page, from the browser, it now directly collects from the cache memory, rather than it is because if you use the same amount of data, the caches are stored in the cache memory. So that's the reason we introduced this concept called parameterization. So let me open a notepad. we parameterization. When we record the script, there are some static values present in the script. There are some static values present in the script, and we need to parameterize those values. It is used to pass defined value during the performance test. Let's take an example. Let's, as we have seen yesterday, uh, this is our client, the browser. This is LoadRunner. In between, it acts as an interface, and this is the server. So our request flows in this particular manner, and our response flows in this particular manner, and everything it's get captured here. All the recording plus response. Recording plus response captured, or traffic. This is the client, this is browser, and this is the server, and this is the load runner. Okay. In between what all request it flows, it first capture that, it records that particular thing, and whenever the response come, before it goes to the client, it captures that particular thing. So after the recording, a script is generated. In all the events are captured, and your script is generated. Script generated. So what it will be there? There will be some static values and some dynamic values. Static values and dynamic values. So again, parameterization comes into picture for this particular value. Parameterization concept. So parameterization comes into picture. Let's take one more paint, and now let's say this is my application. Launch, login. Let's consider only login. This is login. When this is user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5. Suppose this is login module. Okay, let's say this is user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5. And this is the login module. Login module. Okay, so let's say you have a username u1 and you have a password called p1, user 2 password called slash p2, user 3 password. So you have a login and you have some login request. In that you there is some key value pairs. Just let's see, this is the code it generated, and let's see, you have a username equals to u1. When you recorded the script, uh, this particular thing it generated on this way, p1. But now, for if you want to run the script for 5 iteration, run the script for 5 iteration, your main agenda is to parameterize this thing. You have to parameterize this static values. So as of now, u1 is a static value, p1 is a static value. So accordingly, you have to parameterize according to load runner variable. So because for each and every 5 iteration you want to pass different values, because you want to simulate the each iteration as a real user, like different users. Then at that particular time it's a unique user, right? u1 p1, u2 p2, u3 p3, u4 p5. At that particular concept you parameterize those things. Like there are some fields, I'll just show you once. Let's take, when I'll be deep diving on the script, I'll explain this particular thing. For as of now, this is the concept, you get it. So how it will run, let me just show you. If you want to run this for 5 iteration, run the script for 5 iteration. Okay, now let's divide this as a 5 iteration. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, iteration 4, and iteration 5. So in iteration 1, iteration 1, what value is present? u1 slash p1. So this is for iteration 2. What value is present? Username is u2 and password is u2 p2. So similarly, this way for iteration 3, and for every iteration, once the iteration gets complete, it will, for the first iteration, it takes the u1 as p1 and this particular value it will be substituted. For the second iteration, it takes u2 slash p2. For third iteration, it takes u2 slash p3. For the fourth iteration, it takes u4 slash p4. And for the fifth iteration, it takes u5 slash p5. Okay, so I think you got this particular idea. Let's see about what is user unit and action, and I'll just open my views and show you guys. So let's create a new script, and I want to create a web HTTP. Let's see, I'll give a business process, and let us just give a application name. I'll consider JPEG store. This is the naming convention you have to follow. And next, what are the scenario you're just trying to purchase product, and what is the business process? This is business process one, and you have to create. So once you created, this will be the settings I will be telling you. As of now, we are seeing v user init. So what is the use of this particular function? I will let you know. V user init action. and user end. User end. So let's just see user init. Normally, vuser init, whatever functions you want to, this vuser init and and will perform for one time. Whenever you run for one iteration, it will run only one time. But whenever you run for multiple iteration, only the action part will run for multiple iteration. So how can you define this is like the exit phase of the script. Like it is the starting phase of the script. You can tell a section of the script which contains initialization part, like if you want to perform any kind of database initialization or anything like you want to open any file, any initialization if you want to perform, you can perform in this particular thing. And suppose there is a scenario you want to perform all the login function, you want to keep launch and login part in init portion, and all the logout part you want to keep in end portion. At that particular time, you can consider vuser init and vuser end. So it is used for initialization purpose. It runs once during the test. It runs once during the test and used for initialization purpose. Example, you, if you want to keep the login part. Once example, like if you keep the login request in the init, then it will run only once. Run once, only once. Okay. And once the user are logged in, they are the active users present in the application, and they will be performing multiple operations in the application. So they won't be like this won't be the repetitive process, like each and every time they will be yeah, unique users. And so if you find that there are no multiple unique users, you can continue on this particular way. Your main objective is to test the critical business flow. So you can use this particular concept. You can keep the login in init and logout in end. So let's see now about action. So this section contains the business process and runs an iterative manner. Contains all the business process, and we can run this for multiple iteration and run this for multiple iteration. It has the real user activity, which can be put under this particular action. So You can even put your login and logout. Yeah, login, logout. It depends on how the script is prepared, created, and what all business transaction you want to cover. So as I have already this is the use of this particular thing. For in action part, you normally keep all the business processes like or the business transaction, critical business transaction, and this can be run for multiple iteration. And when you are performing the real user action like critical business flows, you wanted to consider that run for the and see the TPS or response time for this particular critical business flow rather than considering the other which is not required. And you can even put the login and logout as well. It depends on how